Thank you for joining us on the Face Facts YouTube page. I'm Mike Hydeck, along with the Democratic nominee, Justin Elicker, running for mayor of New Haven. If you head towards the general election and you think that Mayor Harp is going to run, will you change your strategy in any way?
No. Our strategy has simply been to knock on as many doors as possible, talk to as many voters as possible. And the only thing that would be different is that we'd have many more doors to knock on.
Right.
And in many ways, that's a good thing for our campaign and a good thing for New Haven and a good thing as a future leader, because it gives us an opportunity to engage unaffiliated voters that oftentimes are tired of the political process and don't feel like they're connected with the future of New Haven. And I think that's something that I hear significantly throughout the community, is that politicians only show up around election time.
Right.
And for me to have an opportunity to really engage more people is an important thing.
Mayor Harp most recently talked about trying to strengthen protections for immigrants in your city. There's quite a few immigrants in New Haven and Hartford and our bigger cities. Will you continue in that vein? Do you have a plan regarding immigrants if, say, a large case comes and ICE is involved? How do you handle something like that?
So I support our status as a sanctuary city, and Mayor Harp recently passed an order after a long time of many residents asking for this, to make sure that other departments in the city don't cooperate with ICE. I think this, from an ethical and practical perspective, is the right step. People are living in our city that are residents of our city that may be undocumented. And we want to be a place that welcomes people, but more so, we want to be a place where residents of our city feel comfortable calling the police, sending their children to school without the fear of being deported.
So you feel as if you'll continue similar vein in what she was talking about?
Yes.
Let's talk finances and how it impacts your school system. There have been more than a few feathers ruffled this year with the new superintendent coming in, changes made to schools. People are very upset. Some were calling for her dismissal. That did not happen. Where do you stand on trying to make sure the education is there for the kids who need it most? And then how do you go through the budget challenges to try to make that happen?
My wife and I put our 4-year-old daughter on the bus to go to kindergarten a couple weeks ago for the first time. So I have a lot of skin in the game and really care about the future of our public school system. And all too often, look, we have budget challenges, but all too often the people on the front lines, the librarians, the guidance counselors, the teachers are the ones that get cut, and then the administrators and outside consultants are not. And I think that's what's got to change. There needs to be a more balanced approach to balancing the budget. There's been a lot of contracts given out to the superintendent's friends, $3,000 a day contracts, and at the same time we're eliminating teachers' positions. That's not the right choice for anyone in the city.
So trying to make the numbers add up, what happens? I mean, you're not going to automatically get new real estate revenue or sales tax revenue. That's a big hurdle to try to clear.
So overall, the financial challenges that we face as a city are serious.
Yeah.
We have $1.5 billion of debt because we borrowed a lot of money. Our pensions are funded by 40% only. We owe a lot in health care payments, and we should fund health care payments for retirees much more than we are. And the question is, how do we address this problem? And there's many ways to do that. We can eliminate some wasteful spending that's going on. There's been a lot of lawsuits that the city's involved in that probably shouldn't be involved in. There were made some missteps along the way.
There's still one on the horizon, right?
There's multiple on the horizon, with loosening of the lead policy, for example, where we paid $100,000 in lawyers for a policy that we shouldn't have in the first place. And then we also need to find other sources of revenues. Ultimately, we can't cut our way out of this problem. I think there's potential with Yale University to increase voluntary payments. There's some potential from the state to give us more tools so that we can collect revenue to address this long-term financial problem.
Developing along the waterfront, the boathouse, the brand new boathouse is there. Is that something in the future to try to bring in either more retail or more business or more income?
The short answer is yes, but we need to do it carefully.
So it's expensive.
It's expensive, but more importantly, if you look at projections for sea level rise, much of our shoreline in New Haven is gone in 50 years. Even Tweed Airport is projected to be gone in 50 years. IKEA is flooded out. So we need to make sure that when we're planning for future development along the coastline, that we don't develop in areas where there's going to be significant impact by sea level rise, or we have a strategy to address it. You know, there's places like Denmark that have really addressed issues around ocean and impact in the shoreline. We can study those, but there's a real cost to those.
Justin Elicker, we appreciate your time, the Democratic nominee for mayor in New Haven. And if you like any of the other YouTube videos, just click right there. We have more.
This is Face the Facts with NBC Connecticut.